This is my second time recording this. Hopefully the lighting's a little bit better now that I've shut the curtains. Hopefully you'll be able to see me instead of me just being a dark blob. Now I'm just a blob. So, something a little bit different for the channel. I figured, I've wanted to do it for a little while now. I'm finally just going to go ahead and do it. I'm focusing a bit more on YouTube and Twitch and streaming and all that fun stuff from April onwards. So, here we go. First bit of new content is going to be Pro League predictions. I'm going to mainly focus on the North American League and the European League. They're the two leagues that I know the most about. They're the ones that I've watched in the past. I watch a bit of APAC and a bit of LATAM, but I don't know too much about the teams or the players. But obviously, the more that I watch, the more comfortable I'll be releasing content about those leagues in future. So, first things first, I'm just going to go and jump right into EU League. I've been tweeting my predictions, and I'll leave a few of those around me somewhere here so you can see my tweets. For the most part, it's gone quite well. I think I'm on a total score of 10 out of 15 games, so 2/3. It's not too bad, I'm pretty happy with that. The main reason that I've missed those 5 is just through upsets. Teams performing better than I thought they would, teams underperforming slightly and hitting a bit of a roadblock at the start of the season. But I feel like now that we're jumping into these 2 play days per week, teams are going to be getting into the full swing of things. And God bless the North American players, because they're going to have to play back-to-back 2 days. That's going to be real stressful for them. It's going to be interesting to see how many of them show up on game day 1, shit talk each other, and then show up on game day 2 and just can't. Like, their voices are gone from screaming at each other. So that's going to be interesting to see. Without further ado, though, let's just jump straight into the European League predictions. So, Playday 4 is coming up. Game number 1 is Rogue versus Empire. It's a tricky one to think about because Empire have looked a bit patchy this season. So have Rogue. Rogue are hitting a bit of an upswing right now, though. They looked really convincing against Virtus Pro. So I think that Rogue might just be able to edge out the competition in this one and run away with it. Empire, something's just not clicking for them this season. I really thought they were going to be back to their old ways of just conquering teams and just sticking to their formula, not budging, not shaking, not giving you an inch of space. But they've not really looked all that confident. Something's just not clicking, like I say. So I think prediction number 1, I'm going to give this one to Rogue. It's going to be interesting to see Leon and the Passion Stack run that one. So, yeah, let's give it to Rogue. Game number 2. It's an interesting one again. VP, normally they're one of the heavy hitters in the league, but they've been struggling with form as well. Having just lost to Rogue and looking patchy this season, I think Na'Vi are going to take it. Na'Vi have just looked unstoppable. Doki has just been clicking heads like it's no one's business. Nath's looked great. Saves has looked great. All of them are just looking just brilliant. They're just playing some of the best Siege I think we've ever seen the Na'Vi team play. So, as well, with them being mainly British boys, I've got to go with Na'Vi on this one. They're one of the sort of dark horses for me this season. I think they're going to do really well, and I'm going to slide this prediction their way. Game number 3, it's G2 versus Vitality. I'm a huge G2 fan. They've been my team since Pengu's been there because I was a huge Pengu fan. Having him retired and Kayak step into his position, it looks like it's a great change. And again, with me being British, I've got to love Kayak. The guy's a beast. So UK massive on that one. I'm going with G2 to beat Vitality here. Vitality, while they've looked good, I don't think they're going to be good enough to take out G2, who at this point are looking like my favourites to win the league. I had originally thought it'd be BDS, but we'll get to them a little bit later. But for now, G2 just look unstoppable. They tripped up a little bit at the start against Secret, but after that they've really just picked up in form. Citizen and Virtue have just been going absolutely crazy, just clicking heads like it's no one's business. So I feel like G2 are just going to run away with the league this time, and I really hope they do. We'll see though. I'm probably going to look like an idiot in a month or two, but hey, say it with your chest. So, like I said, talk about BDS a little bit. Their game 4 up against Team Secret. I can see BDS running away with this one. They've not looked as dominant as maybe people were expecting them to. I thought that they were just going to run away with the league and it was going to be theirs. I pegged them as favourites to win the Invitational before it got postponed. But something just seemed a little bit off. Which is odd because, you know, the team are great, and if all else fails, they can always just fall back on the plan of walk in sight, click heads. But against the bigger fish, I don't see that working as often. I can see, you know, teams like G2 with Kayak on smoke punishing them because you can't send all three of you through a doorway if there's a gas canister on it and you're all just choking. So it's going to be real interesting. I do think BDS are going to beat Team Secret here quite convincingly. So I'm going to slide the prediction their way, but I'd be happy for Secret to prove me wrong on this one. Finally, on Playday 4, Game 5 is Kavana versus Trainhard. Again, with me being from the UK, Kavana are one of my favourites. You know, they're a team that I love watching. Seeing the boys like Sloth and Grizzly, they're just unstoppable on their day. Really, really great players. So I feel like they're going to walk away with this one. Trainhard haven't looked too convincing. They've, you know, looked good in patches here and there. But for the main part, Kavana, I think, are just going to run away with that one. That game's theirs all day long. And I can see them taking it quite convincingly. So those are my predictions for Playday 4. We'll see how those stack up. But now with us having 2 Playdays each week, Playday 5 happens 3 days or 2 days after, something like that. So moving on to Playday 5 predictions, game number 1 is going to be Vitality versus Virtus Pro. I think Vitality are going to take this one, you know. I really did have them pegged as being one of the worst teams this season, but they've just proven me wrong, you know. They don't look great, don't get me wrong, but they look good enough to upset a fair few teams. And Virtus Pro, in their shaky form, if they do come off the back of a loss to Na'Vi, I can see Vitality taking this one. Don't get me wrong, it'll be very close, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went to overtime. But I'm going to go with Vitality on this one. I'm going to go with Vitality. Game 2, though, Empire versus Kavana. Again, my head says go with Empire. They're the team with the most pedigree. You look at the teams on paper and you'd think Empire would win hands down. But my heart says go with Kavana. And I think I'm just going to go with Kavana on this one. I'm going to say it with my chest. You know, UK massive. Let's go for it. Kavana, I think, can really upset Empire. It'll be a close game, and Empire will give them a good run for the money. But I like Kavana's odds on that one. Which leaves us with game 3. Trainhard versus G2. It's hands down a G2 win. I don't think Trainhard are gonna really show too much here. It's not gonna be an upset, you know. I think G2 are just gonna walk away with it, take the easy dub. Poor Trainhard, you know. I think these guys are gonna really struggle this season. But G2 just looks so dominant right now. They're going to walk all over Train Hard, as bad as I feel for the guys. But yeah, I'm going to give the prediction to G2 on this one. Moving on to game 4, this is going to be the game of the day, I think. It's going to be Na'Vi against BDS. Again, my head says BDS take it, but my heart says Na'Vi do. And with the form that Na'Vi are in right now, I'm going to have to give it to Doki and the boys. Doki looks unstoppable. As I've said, the whole team's looking great. They're playing the best Siege that we've seen out of any Na'Vi roster to date. So I think it is going to be a Na'Vi win. BDS will give them a good run for their money. It could go to overtime. Either way, though, this is definitely the match to keep your eye on, and I highly recommend everyone watches that one. It's just going to be wild. Doki versus Shaiko, man. What an event. Finally, that leaves us with game number 5 for Playday 5. It's Team Secret versus Rogue. If Rogue can keep the form running, I think it's a Rogue victory right here. Secret have looked decent enough, but when Rogue are firing on all cylinders, as we saw against Virtus Pro, they're a scary team to play against. They're so dominant in the map, in the moment. So I'm going to give this one to Leon and the boys. I think Rogue are going to really, really push this season and start to show us what we were expecting from them last year. So that wraps up my predictions for Playday 5. Without further ado, I'm going to get into the North American predictions right here. So we'll see how those go. So, as well as being a G2 fan, I am a closet TSM fan. I can't help it, I'm sorry. I just love too many of the players on there. You know, Achieved's great, Merc's great, Bolo obviously, and Poge. Who doesn't love Poge? The guy's incredible. So, it's no surprise that TSM are the team that I root for in the NA. But that being said, let's have a look at how I think the game days will go. So, Playday 3, match number 1, SSG versus the Sonics. I want to go with SSG on this one. The Sonics have looked quite good so far, but I just don't see them going all the way. I think they're just going to be another middle of the pack team. I don't see them breaking into the top 4. It's going to be hard to shake SSG, you know, given the form that they're in right now, and they're just going to be in a great place, you know. Off the back of that win that they just had against Disrupt, despite Luke not getting any kills, they still look great, and I really do hope that Luke gets a kill in this game, and I would love to see him kill Super. I just love that. That'd be incredible. So I'm going to have to give this one to SSG. I feel bad for the Sonics and the XE United boys because I really do like them. I don't see it going any other way, unfortunately. For game 2, it's going to be TSM versus Mirage. Now, Mirage have found a place in my heart this season. I've really enjoyed watching them. Who doesn't like watching the Dream Cam? Like, it's just incredible. So, TSM are going to take this one, I think. It's going to really hurt me to see Mirage lose again. I feel like these guys are so due a win at this point. They're playing fairly well, you know. It's heartbreaking to see them lose back to back, especially with such a close margin against Dark Zero. But I think Mirage are soon going to find their feet in the league and they're going to run away with some wins. It's just not going to be against TSM, unfortunately. Especially having just beat XSET 7-0, I just think TSM are going to be riding too high on this one. So I'm going to have to give my prediction to them. Sorry, Mirage. I mean, you guys are you're going to get there. You're going to get there. It's not going to be this one. Match number 3, is Disrupt Gaming versus OXG. Now, Disrupt Gaming, I really did have high hopes for them coming into this season, but after watching them play in the league, it seems like something's not clicking when they're attacking. They're moving a little bit too slow. It doesn't seem like they're going in with a set plan and running with it. It seems like they're just sort of coming up with what's going to work on the fly, and I don't know. They're underperforming right now at the minute, I'd say. But once they do start firing on all cylinders and really get into the swing of things, I think Disrupt are going to do great. And I did have them pegged to finish in the top 4. If they pick up their form quickly, I still think they could. However, going up against OXG, I'm going to have to say that OXG take this one. They've looked better than they perhaps ever have so far. And the new additions to the team, Kino and Yoga, have just been crazy. Kino went off on his first game. And last game, I mean, Yoga caught up and matched Kino's stats. So I just think OXG are going to be really strong contenders. They're going to finish in the top 4? Probably. Could they finish a bit higher than the 4th spot that they normally take? I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm going to have to give my prediction to OXG on this one. I do feel bad for Disrupt. I just hope that they can find their feet soon and start picking up them dubs. But it's an OXG win for me, my opinion. Which then leaves us with Game 4, which is Beast Coast versus Dark Zero. I think Beast Coast are going to give Dark Zero a good run for their money, having just missed a play day and had a bit of a break. And obviously coming off the back of beating TSM, I think they're going to be just riding so high from that win, and they've had more time to prepare for the Dark Zero game. So I do think Beast Coast are gonna push Dark Zero here. I don't think they're gonna win though, unfortunately. I think Dark Zero are gonna just edge them out a little bit, just a little bit. So I'm going with Dark Zero on this one, but I would more than love Beast Coast to prove me wrong. I mean, who wouldn't? That leaves us with Playday 4. So the first game for that one is going to be Xset versus Beast Coast. I think Beast Coast take this one. Xset have looked too up and down. Again, a team that's just struggling with their attacks, it seems like. On defence, they're not too bad, don't get me wrong, but as soon as, they have to try and execute on site or anything like that, they just seem to be tripping up, and it's just little silly mistakes. Sure, the team looks great, and I do want to see them succeed, but I think they need to put in a little bit more work. Not saying that they're not. The guys are obviously putting a lot of work in. The guys look decent. But it's just they need to find some consistency, I think. And again, if Beast Coast are going to be riding as high as I think they are, still off the back of a win against TSM, my money's got to go with Beast Coast on this one. So I'm sorry, Xset. I hope you guys can prove me wrong, but I'm going with Beast Coast on this one. Game number 2 is SSG versus TSM, and it's no surprise here. I'm going to go with TSM on this one. Don't get me wrong, SSG are going to do well. They're going to give TSM a good run for their money, especially with the way Bosco and Fultz played against Disrupt not too long back. I just feel like TSM are going to take it. I think this league is theirs this season. I just don't see it going any other way. They haven't changed anything. They're running with the same players. They've just got that chemistry, and it's just going to click. It didn't click on day one. Beast Coast were an unknown quantity. Sure, they upset TSM, but after that, TSM just came back and just went crazy. So I think TSM are just going to carry on with that form. SSG, it'd be nice to see them win, especially with Luke playing, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately. By all means, though, I'd be happy if they prove me wrong. But I'm going to give this one to TSM. Moving on to Game 3, it's going to be OXG versus the Sonics. Again, I think this one's pretty clean cut. I think OXG are going to take it. The Sonics might be able to surprise them. think it's going to be an OXG win. If Kino and Yoga can keep up the form that they're in, hands down, they're just going to be able to bring it to the Sonics on any map. So I'm going with OXG on this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sonics can take it to overtime and just snatch it out of OXG's hands. Leaving us with game number 4, Disrupt Gaming versus Dark Zero. And I think this is going to be the point where Disrupt finally start to find their feet. I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball here, and I'm going to say that Disrupt win it. It's going to be a long game. I see it going to overtime, but I just think Disrupt are finally going to find their feet. They're going to find some consistency. The chemistry is going to be there, and the team's just going to gel. They're going to get over the attacking hurdles that they're facing at the minute, and they're going to give Dark Zero a real good run for their money. So I'm going to have to give this one to Disrupt Gaming. Just again, feeling it in my heart, saying it with my chest. But who knows? On the day, anything could happen. So that wraps up my predictions for Playday 3 and 4 of the NA League. And you'll see me again next week with another one of these videos, hopefully. As long as, the lighting works out and I can get things working properly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's not too long. And again, feel free to follow me on Twitter, because I will always tweet out my predictions, and it'd be nice to have some people interact and let me know what they thought. And feel free to follow me on Twitch, because as I said, I plan on streaming on there a bit more. So now it's April, I'm going to try and pick things up and focus on YouTube and streaming and just really see where I can go with this, see what happens. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.